The Honda Zoomer 50, also known as the Ruckus in the United States, has been one of those scooters that completely redefined what people thought about small displacement two-wheelers. Back in 2005 when Honda introduced it in the American market, it didn't look like any scooter that came before it. There was no glossy bodywork, no enclosed panels hiding everything. Instead, the Zoomer had this rugged, bare bones, almost industrial look. You could see its tubular steel frame, its exposed hardware, and that minimalist seat. It was raw, practical, and strangely stylish. Between 2005 and 2012, this little 50cc machine built a cult following in the US and around the world, and in 2026, it still holds a legendary place in the scooter scene. Let's take a closer look at what made the Honda Zoomer 50 so unique. First of all, the design. Instead of the traditional, step-through, scooter styling that looked refined and sleek, Honda went with a stripped-down, utility-inspired design. It looked like something you'd use in the city as a daily runabout, but also something that could survive being tossed around, parked anywhere, or even customized into something wild. The twin round headlights gave it a bug-eyed look, the open steel tube frame gave it personality, and the fat tires gave it a chunky stance. Riders instantly fell in love with how different it looked compared to everything else on the road. Powering the Zoomer 50 was a 49cc, liquid-cooled, 4-stroke single-cylinder engine. That might sound tiny, but this engine was efficient, reliable, and durable. With Honda's reputation for bulletproof engineering, the Zoomer could run for years with minimal maintenance. It produced enough power to cruise around town comfortably, reaching speeds up to about 40 miles per hour. That might not sound fast, but for urban commuting, it was perfect. Fuel economy was another big selling point. Riders could expect over 100 miles per gallon, which made it one of the most cost-effective vehicles you could own at the time. Another standout feature was the CVT automatic transmission. No gears, no shifting, just twist the throttle and go. That made it incredibly beginner-friendly. Anyone who could ride a bicycle could hop on the Zoomer and be comfortable within minutes. This ease of use, combined with its affordability and practicality, made it a top choice for students, city commuters, and even experienced riders who wanted a simple runaround. But the Zoomer 50 wasn't just about practicality. It had personality. Customization became a huge part of its identity. Riders all over the US and Japan started modifying their Zoomers. Some slammed them to the ground, stretched the frames, added wild paint jobs, and upgraded the exhaust. Others went the utility route, adding cargo racks, storage boxes, or even military-style gear. The open-frame design made it a blank canvas for creativity. By 2012, the custom Zoomer and Ruckus culture had exploded into its own sub-community, with online forums, meetups, and shows dedicated to these little machines. In terms of ride quality, the Zoomer had a surprisingly comfortable setup. The large, fat tires soaked up bumps on city streets, the low seat height made it accessible to riders of all sizes, and the lightweight frame meant you could easily maneuver it through traffic or tight spaces. Parking was never an issue, and thanks to its tough look, many riders felt comfortable leaving it on the street without worrying too much about scratches or dents. Between 2005 and 2012, the Honda Zoomer 50 carved out a loyal fan base. But even beyond that production era, its influence continued. People kept their Zoomers alive, swapping in bigger engines, doing full rebuilds, and keeping the culture thriving. Fast forward to 2026, and the Zoomer still holds a nostalgic yet respected place in American scooter culture. When we talk about the American Sockter of 2026, the Zoomer name still comes up because of the way it blended practicality with street style. Younger generations look at it almost like a classic car, something that represents a different time in scooter history, but still cool enough to ride today. One of the reasons the Zoomer stood out so much was because it wasn't trying to be something it wasn't. Most scooters back then leaned into looking elegant or futuristic. The Zoomer was honest, raw, and mechanical, and that honesty appealed to riders who wanted something fun but also rugged. In many ways, the Zoomer 50 was ahead of its time. If you look at today's scooters and small electric two-wheelers in 2026, you can see the influence of the Zoomer in their exposed frames, modular designs, and urban-ready looks. When you think about it, Honda didn't just create another scooter, they created a platform. A platform that allowed creativity, individuality, and practicality all in one. Whether you were a college student saving gas money, a delivery worker zipping through traffic, or a custom builder turning it into a showpiece, the Zoomer had something for you. It was versatile in a way most scooters weren't. Even now, enthusiasts talk about how reliable the old carbureted 49cc engine was, how easy it was to wrench on, and how fun it was to push its limits. Sure, it wasn't fast, and it wasn't loaded with high-tech features, but it had character. And character is something you can't just design into a machine, it has to come naturally. The Zoomer had it in spades. So here in 2026, the Honda Zoomer 50 from 2005 to 2012 remains more than just a